Alright, this is the final adjustment I make to this scene because I have already put so many books on top of each other in order to try and get this temporary Oh, hello! Hey, hi, how are you doing? I am about ready to start reading sprints because it's the 1st of December, which means it's the start of my readathon. So I am hosting a readathon in December, which is called Game Nightathon, the Lottery Edition. By the time you're seeing this, we're already quite far into the month, but there's never, you're never too late for it. You can always kind of look back at what you've read throughout that first week and see if you can count certain things for the readathon. In any case, I will have the announcement video linked up above so that you can go and check it out as well. But so, I will be reading for Game Nightathon. I do have 2 books that I've already started. I'm in the middle, I'm close to finishing one book, Those Below by Daniel Polansky. I will probably not be talking about this one within this vlog though, because I'm already 3/4 of the way through it. I will be listening to it tomorrow, maybe even still on Wednesday during my commute, but then it will be over, and so I'm not going to be talking about this one here. You can have most of my thoughts about that series within the previous vlog. But I also started my advent calendar book, which is A Heart for Christmas by Sophie, Jomain, I think it is. It is underneath my camera at the moment, so I cannot really show you, but this is a book that basically has all of these chapter sections that you have to cut open every single day of December to get started on, and I'm actually really enjoying it so far. I mean, it's only one chapter, of course, but we are following a girl who had a heart transplant at the age of 17, which is some 1.5 years ago at this point in time, and so she is living in the knowledge that in 15 years from now, if she's lucky, this heart can last for 15 years, and then she would have to go through another transplant without the certainty that that will be successful. And so she's dealing with an overbearing mother, and she's going to spend Christmas, or at least some of the winter period, with her father, who they have divorced a little while ago, and so she is on her way there together with her mother in the first chapter. But so I enjoy this perspective, and I enjoy the disability representation we have in this one. I'm a little bit curious about the circumstances of this family, because he lives in France, but I'm not entirely sure whether they both do. In any case, they talk about the height of his mountain in feet, and I don't think that we do that, right? But maybe the Brits probably also do. Maybe this is something English, you know, because the Americans definitely do, but maybe when it comes to mountains, the British also talk about feet probably, so this is probably the reason why. I was just like, wait, what? Feet? But you're in France. In France we don't use these ways of referring to the sizes of mountains, so it's probably just an English thing. But so, and I'm just assuming that they're both, that they're all French, because there hasn't really been sort of a reference to the fact that they live in different countries or where they would typically live. So that's why I think that. But I was already a little bit skeptical about the name of one street, because it also looked to me like that was probably a misspelled name. But so yeah, I have to say that when I know the country and the language, I become so skeptical, clearly. But so yeah, I have been enjoying it. Hopefully I can let go of the analytical side of my brain when it comes to these types of sort of really minor details, and hopefully they also don't occur all that much. But so yes, I'm enjoying that one. I'm about to go for some sprints over on my channel to start the readathon, and that means that I don't yet know what I'm going to be reading, because I thought it would be a fun idea for, at least for the first sprints, to do a spinner reel during sprints to figure out what prompt I need to be reading for it, and to look together with my audience, you guys, at my potentials, and kind of decide during the sort of first chatty bit before we start sprinting at what I will be reading. So at this point in time, everything is open. As you may know if you've seen my December no reading plans video, I cannot plan for my December reading. So it needs to be impulsive. It needs to be what I want to be reading in the moment. And so far, this is the way that we're going to try and achieve that. It's just by just not looking ahead and just letting things happen in the moments. But so yeah, Christmas tree. I am so happy with my Christmas tree. I bought new lights for it, so I only had the yellow lights in there last year, and so I bought new lights for it. So now I also have the multicolored lights, and I gotta say I love them so much. Me and my sister loved the multicolored lights so much when we were kids, and so this is actually the tree that has been with me most of my life. I'm allergic to real Christmas trees, so this is a fake Christmas tree that has been with me from around the age of 10, so it's been with me some 25 years, you know. And yes, I love it being back to its full glory with the multicolored lights. It is very kitsch, as we would say. So it's got every single color out there. There is no possibility for for any ornaments not to fit in, because nothing fits with each other, and that's how I love it. But so yeah, I'm about ready to go and get prepared for sprints. Make sure that my setup is looking nice for those. I'll definitely have the Christmas tree on display as well for that. And then I will be eagerly awaiting the moment in which I know what I can be picking up next. Good morning. I have not talked to you all week, it feels like. It is Friday. No, it is not even Friday. It is Sunday. I just had like I woke up in the middle of the night and I thought it was like Monday already, so I'm already super happy to know that it isn't and it is still Sunday. But today I actually have quite a few things planned, so I thought I'd already film this update video, even though my hair is still wet. But yeah, if I'm gonna wait for my hair to dry for all of my videos, then perhaps I get no videos done today. But so, it is Sunday, which means we've done a lot of progress on my reading in the meantime, and I thought I'd give you a little bit of an update while I continue building my Lego sets. So I'm building the Christmas tree. So I already have the big carriage, the locomotive, prepared. I do think I need to like tweak the width of the tires a little bit, because I don't think that they're like correctly on the track, so I'll have to do that at some point, but that's a little bit too fiddly for us to be taken care of during this little update. But so, what did I start my week off reading? So mainly I started off by listening to Murderbot. So that was decided upon in the first live show. So in the live show I drew, like I spun the wheel, and the wheel spun gave me a Szalay, so a book that had travel in it. And so I gave you guys like 3 or 4 options, and I'm gonna admit that I actually wanted another option than Murderbot to appear. However, in the end, I am quite happy it was Murderbot. I mean, I didn't have anything against Murderbot. It was just that I was really kind of curious about another book. But I'm happy that I reread Murderbot, because we're now one step closer to getting to new content and to being caught up in time for the new Murderbot that will be releasing in 2026. So I re-listened to Network Effect, which is the 4th book in the Murderbot diaries. Loud noises incoming. So it's the 4th book in the Murderbot Diaries, and the Murderbot Diaries is basically a series in which we are looking at a robot who has basically hacked his government module. So the system that's basically keeping him under check, that makes it so that humans can give him commands and he doesn't really have the option to say no to them. He is hacked that. However, you would think like, okay, he's now going on some sort of like killer spree, or if you're more normal, you would think like, okay, he's just like chilling around and, you know, like sitting somewhere in a cozy area where nobody really will notice him and just like living his best life. However, he has basically decided that you know, like he's in a big danger of being found out, because when he's found out, they will basically either destroy him to avoid, you know, like people finding out about the fact that the robot actually was able to hack its own government control module, or they might just like reprogram him and he will lose this new freedom that he has gained. And so on his end, he is basically just going about as if he hasn't been hacked. So he's basically still going off on contracts, pretending to obey the humans each and every command. And he's using that time to then be able to indulge in sort of like his big hobby, which is watching TV basically. He loves watching the entertainment channel, he loves watching certain like TV shows, and he especially enjoys the rise and fall of Century Moon. However, on his first expedition, a lot of things will start going awry, and so his cover might soon be blown. So we are So we are 4 books in, so of course there's not much I can tell you about the actual content of this 4th book. It is one of the longer ones, so the first 3 were all novellas, and I think the rest will also be novellas again, but this 4th one is actually a normal length book, somewhere in the 300 pages. And yeah, I enjoy this a lot. Wait, I need to think here. Yeah. So yeah, I enjoy Murderbot a lot. I enjoy the sort of like socially awkwardness of Murderbot. As he basically just wants to avoid having to interact with humans at all costs, and he definitely wants to avoid talking about feelings, which humans seem to always want to be talking about, or particularly his humans definitely want to be talking about. But so yeah, I enjoyed that a lot. In Murderbot we're always like space traveling, so it definitely fits the travel prompt quite well. And yeah, that's the first book that I finished, so the first book that I was able to log. Then I also afterwards did another spin when I was about halfway in Murderbot to see what else was going to come up, and I got the Champagne Glasses. Now the Champagne Glasses is to read your most recent addition to your TBR, or your most recent addition to your sort of like want to read list, or anything like that. And so initially I was looking at I looked at my want to read list, and there's a book that I just added to that, but I didn't really add it with the intention of immediately reading it, and I didn't really feel like immediately reading it neither, so I decided to like not go for that route. So I looked at my TBR. The most recent book on my TBR is Mirrored Heavens, I think it's called. This is the 3rd book in a series that starts with the book Black Sun, but I haven't read Black Sun yet, so I cannot really start off with that. So yeah, I was kind of blocked there immediately. So I thought like, okay, let's look at the 2nd most recent purchase that I have on there, and that is The Witcher, Crossroads of Ravens. So this is a prequel to The Witcher by Andrzej Sapkowski and translated by David French. David French, yeah. Very difficult typecast there. But so yes, this is a prequel to The Witcher. So if you've seen The Witcher series, this is from the time in which The Witcher, so Geralt, had basically just graduated from Witcher Academy and is setting out into the real world to fight off monsters. Now, I knew from having seen other people try to tackle the Witcher series that they had some difficulties with the writing style. This might be just something to do with the cadence of the original language Polish in English translation. Or, yeah, no, it can be something else, of course, but I do agree with that. I do struggle with the writing style within this. I do struggle with sort of like seeing where a sentence is going and therefore interpreting the start of the sentence differently than where it's actually going, so having to reinterpret, and a little bit more of a staccato way of sort of like phrases running. So I do agree that this is more difficult to get through, and so I've already been considering if I could potentially like shift my choice here. And what I basically was thinking along that line is I have read another book in the meantime. So I guess Thursday evening, right? Thursday evening I realized that I had a book that I had on hold from the library that was actually about to expire. so I knew that this was there all month long, right? So the hold for this came in somewhere at the end, like a month ago basically. The hold for this book came in, and that's when I realized like I probably have to like get this hold, because this is a book for the Booker Prize, and if it wins the Booker Prize then it'll be like very popular, so I might as well take this hold now. If I don't end up reading it within this time period then fine, but then you know I still have the option available to me at this point in time. And I'd actually had it out like that from the library earlier as well, already like that. But then it won the Booker Prize. And so I realized like, okay, I'm gonna have to read this before this hold returns, because there's like no way that if I have let this return to the library, then, you know, like everybody is gonna want to get this book because of the fact that it has just won the Booker. So I'm going to have to complete this now, or otherwise who knows how long it will last, like how long it will take me to get that hold out again. So I started on Thursday, and on Thursday it had the unfortunate message that it was due in 2 days, which was a little bit cryptic, because it was like, okay, what do you mean 2 days? It's like, you mean it's due on Saturday? But then when I checked again on Friday, it already said that it was due in less than 24 hours. So I did still then, like I was kind of convinced that I was gonna lose it at midnight on like Friday, but I did still get to like some 48% into it or something on Friday. And then lo and behold, when I wake up on Saturday, it is still there. So I'm like, okay, fine, let's continue a little bit further with it. Let's see if we can actually try and get this fully done still. Okay, this is not very stable apparently. Or was it the other way around? No, it's like that, yeah. So yeah, but yeah, the way that they have it in there, oh, it's the other way like that. No, it's not possible. I like that. Probably. So I just realized, okay, it's not possible for me to, so yeah, on Saturday it ended up being there, and I was like, okay, let's just go for it. But I knew I wanted to go into the city center, I wanted to do quite a fair few things, so I was like, I'm gonna lose it at some point. However, because I had like an inflamed eye, and so my eye was all red, I ended up spending the entire morning in the house. I ended up listening to it the entire morning, and it was only around the afternoon, around 3 o'clock or so, that I actually left to the city center to buy some stuff. And at that point in time, I was like some 90% or so into it. I really had like a half an hour or so to go in the audiobook at normal speed, and I was actually going at 1.6 speed. And when I came back, I lost it. So yeah, we had to use some unorthodox strategies to be able to to be able to read the end of it, but I have since completed it. So what is this book? This book is called Flesh by David Szalay. I'm not entirely sure that is how you pronounce it, however. And this is a book that is following a Hungarian guy called, I don't know what his name is anymore. I'm not somebody who tends to remember names all that well. And basically we follow him kind of throughout his life. He has like army service at some point in time. We see his sort of like romantic affairs and things like that. We see him moving to the UK, struggling to find jobs there, by circumstances being able to fall in line with somebody who has the right connections in order to get him a really well-earning job. And then we see him sort of like in a romantic affair with somebody and things like that. So we basically just follow this guy throughout his life. And I did like the structure of this, because basically every chapter we just like follow a certain period in his life, more or less the way you traditionally see the book. But after, well, like, when each chapter ends, the next chapter kind of does a time jump. So it's kind of fragmentary, but you're just basically just always looking at these fragments of his life in detail, and then like skipping to another fragment of his life, and basically having to like infer from the information that's like implied what has happened in the meantime. And I actually did really end up enjoying it. There were some points in time in which I was thinking like I could just like, I don't know why this won the book, or I could just let go of this. But when I lost my access to the book, I was definitely like, no, I need to know what ended up happening there, because this was actually a very interesting section of the book towards the end. Some things that happened there that I'd kind of already feared based on how the book was going, that they were happening, and I was like, I need a resolution for what has happened here now. But so yeah, I did enjoy this one. Do I think it's like an amazing book, everybody should read it? No, I definitely think that it's an interesting book and a lot of people could get along with it if you don't mind a book that doesn't have like a strong plot line. You're just following the life of somebody, but the life that he has had is definitely interesting. I don't think I've seen the word okay as much in the book as I have done now, because he's definitely a character who's much more of a closed off male character. He's kind of accused of being the stereotype of sort of like a macho man, but I definitely don't think that that is the case. He goes to therapy, and he definitely, like, from his inner monologue, we definitely see him have strong feelings, and it's not like he's overly objectifying women. In the beginning I did have that feeling, because like the first few chapters were like always having sex in them, but it is also like from a younger period in his time compared to later on, and he does like notice women or something, but it's not like his discussion, like his descriptions of women are vile or anything like that, or like indicative of some sort of like macho behavior. So I definitely enjoyed reading from his perspective. He is a closed off person, but he definitely also is a very caring and loving person as well. So I definitely did enjoy reading from his perspective as well. But so yeah, that is what I read, and I was thinking like, okay, maybe I can use this instead, because this is a library hold, and I hadn't looked at the dates of my library holds before making the decision of what I was going to read. So I was like, oh, this would actually also count. Unfortunately, I have a more recent library hold in my library app, so if we're gonna go that route, I would need to read that book, and that book is a massive book. Luckily, I don't know what to say. In reality, this book also needs to be read this month, because this book is due within 20 days. So it means that I do still need to read it before the end of the month. So I might as well, but that will be for next week then. I'm not going to start that still within this vlog, because today is actually the end of this vlog normally. So yeah, I finished that. Currently it's counting for nothing, but we will see. And then I also made daily progress in my sort of like advent calendar book, which is hard for Christmas, which I'm enjoying. I don't remember whether I talked about it. I had some confusion about the way in which they talk about like measurements in this, because they use sort of like the UK measurement system in their descriptions, even though this book is set in France, and there's sort of like no indication that they are not French people. And I do know somebody who's reading it in Dutch, and in Dutch it doesn't have this measurement thing, so it's definitely just like a decision on the translator's part to translate the measurement. Like, I don't even think it's translated, I think it's originally English, so it's a choice on the author's side and then to have it be done like that, or it's an oversight on the author's side. It doesn't have like a beginning thing. You know, normally books at the beginning have sort of like the ISBN number and stuff like that. It's at the back. Oh, it is a translated, okay. So it is French actually originally, which, yeah, that makes me think that it's a choice on the translator's side, and I don't think I like that choice all that much. I'm pretty sure that this isn't standard practice within translation neither, because otherwise I think I would notice this more frequently in books that are like set in, though of course a lot of those books I read are probably originally in English, but even then I don't notice it, so I don't think that this is like really standard practice. and I didn't really care for it. It did definitely distract me at the beginning and made me so confused about the origins of these characters. Like, are they actually, you know, what was I gonna say? Are they actually, wait, I need to think here for a bit. Are they actually French? Are they English? And like the dad just lives in France, because basically this is a story about her visiting her dad for the holidays, and she had a heart transplant 2 years ago or so. And so her mother is sort of like the overbearing, worried parents. She, on her end, is also very worried about, you know, what she does, what she eats, and all those things. And her father, on the other hand, would love for her to like relax a little bit more, live life. And so yeah, I've been enjoying it so far. But yes, we haven't gotten that far in. Our love interest has made an appearance, and it's like the brother of her best friend, which I guess indeed is a little bit of a sort of like tricky situation on how to navigate that when it comes to sort of like talking to your best friend about it. But so yeah, I'm enjoying that one. Eek, come on. This is not good for the tiny motoric. Right. This is not simple. Come on. How difficult can this be? How am I supposed to get this in? I think I got it in wrong, but okay. But so yeah, anything else? Oh yeah, I wanted to try these. So shout out to Kitty, basically shout out to Szalay, who actually tried these first. These are dates that have the flavor of candy. I saw these a while ago, but I was not unwilling to try them out. And then Szalay tried them out, and like she was like, this is a total mindfuck, and now I also want to try it out. So let's go. These are the sweet peach flavor. This is actually really, really interesting, because indeed it absolutely tastes like sweet peach with the texture of dates. It's interesting. So a healthy nutritional snack. I'm curious about how they get to that flavor, because it says something like naturally sweet dates made in Denmark. How can they be naturally sweet? Or like dates are naturally sweet, so I guess it's like the naturally sweet just refers to the date itself, but like the flavor in no way can be natural, right? So yes, interesting snack. And so yeah, I think that is more or less what I wanted to talk about. I don't think I read anything else in the meantime, right? I did spin again because, you know, I thought that I was reading Crossroads of Ravens for the second prompt, and so when I finished Murderbot I needed another audiobook. I hadn't at that point in time yet thought about the fact that I needed to finish Flesh. So I spun again, and I got words, the Mistletoe, so a book with romance in it, or with a mistletoe on the cover. I mean, I guess Flesh has romance in it, so I could technically counted for that. But I think what we are going to do is but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically be yeah, this uses too much brain power clearly to talk at the same time. Come on. I fit. Yeah, okay. Ah, no, don't fall off. Shit. Ah. How is this the most difficult thing? Oh, oh. Right. One side on again. Let's go for the other side again. Now I see that there is a way to get it to that onto the top one. Why? How? Wait, here. Yeah, yeah, okay. And now, no, I fell off. Jesus. I hope this is somewhat entertaining, or that I cut it out. Okay. What was I saying? Yeah, so I spun for the mistletoe, and so I think, technically speaking, flesh does have romance in it, so I could count for it, but I think that this is sort of like an ideal prompt to use the icon for, because so many Christmassy books have mistletoe on the cover. Interestingly enough, not every book that has mistletoe in the title has mistletoe on the cover, and I think that that should be a crime. But yeah, I'm still looking for a book for that, which I will probably have to make a decision on pretty soon, because I think that I want to do a little bit of cleaning today before I have, like, I'm going to a travel fair in the afternoon, and in the evening there's a going away party for some of my neighbors in this building because they are leaving. So I have quite a busy schedule for the rest of the day, so I think I'll still try to get some cleaning done at this point in time. Like, not real cleaning, but like tidying up, because a lot of stuff is just like laying around, total mess. I have to put everything out of frame for this particular update, for example. So yeah, I think that that is the plan now, is to get decided on which audiobook I'm gonna listen to, and then yeah, listen to that for the cleaning section of today. But so yeah, we got one further thing going on. Actually interesting, am I supposed to connect this to that one? Yes, I am. Which is interesting, because that, or to the other one, I guess. Like this. Okay, yeah. Hey! Woo. Nice. What were these for? You know, when you have like a Lego thing and then it turns out that you have extra stuff. Some of the stuff is just like you're supposed to have. Ah, fuck, this is why. God damn it. Can I remove that section? Well, that was one way to do it. I'm gonna have to break that up. That's horrible. But it was only 2 times, right? Ah, there as well. Fuck. I would say this is what you get for like doing an update while building Lego, but I do also have to admit that I have made a similar mistake yesterday while I was listening to my audiobook, and then I didn't have this amazing excuse. So I wouldn't necessarily say that it is actually down to the fact that I was talking to you guys and thus distracted for a bit. Where's the other one then? Is that there? Okay. So then I also need to do this on this side. But yeah, I hope to finish this train also still this weekend, because then I can place it around my Christmas tree. Actually, if I would have been properly prepared, because this has been like this arrived weeks ago, So, no, if I would have been properly prepared, I would have just built this weeks ago so that it was ready by the time the Christmas tree went up. But yeah. Now we are running behind the facts a little bit, but no worries. We will get there. I bought some gifts yesterday as well in the city center. So I have gifts for my mother now, for my nephew's birthday I have a gift already and part of his Christmas gift as well. And then for my niece I have part of her Christmas gift as well. For my sister I have her Christmas gifts. So we've made some progress in the Christmas gifts departments, and so once I finish setting up this thing, hopefully around the Christmas tree, if that's possible, then I can also start gift wrapping the gifts and putting them under there. And then actually what I wanted to do this weekend as well, and which is starting to look like it might not happen, is I wanted to also write my Christmas cards so that I can put them in the post and have them arrive on time for Christmas. I think I can still do that next week as well and have them arrive on time, but maybe I should just spend some evenings during this week to write a few out so that by the end of next week I can definitely post them. So yeah. I'll probably still check in with you one final time tomorrow probably to let you guys know whether I still got anything done on the Sunday, like on the rest of today or not. So yeah, you're not rid of me yet. Hello guys, I am here on Monday afternoon after work to kind of give you guys a closing out clip for this particular vlog. So in the first week of December I read over 1,000 pages, so it definitely was a successful week. It's definitely the type of page count that I'm starting to see is more regular when I'm kind of like mood reading and indulging in whatever I want to read in the moment. So good sign there. And so yesterday I did still listen to a little bit of an audiobook. I have like a hair somewhere on my nose. And I listened to Mistletoe and Mayhem at the Little Shopping Mall by Hannah Pearl. This is a book about a woman who's basically, like, when she was growing up she spent a lot of time in this particular shopping mall, and her parents died when she was still relatively young, so she's now taking care of her and her brother, and she's working at this shopping mall to kind of keep their family afloat. And she's basically kind of managing. She's not the manager, but she's basically doing the manager's job because the manager seems to like get away with doing as little as possible. And so she's been working there for a while. Things have been going well, but there seem to be some changes coming to the mall in this lead up to Christmas, where there's like new people who are temporarily you know, renting out space there, who are not really getting along with the old timers, let's call them like that. And then there are people who've been renting space there for a very long time who see like their rent prices increasing, and she feels like their rent is increasing too much. And then there's this weird guy who's like walking around in the shopping mall and who seems to be acting suspiciously. And why am I so pale? I need to move this a little bit because, I mean, I still look like a pale ghost. Let's get that ISO down. No, down, not up. Is that better? Yeah, okay, much better. So now that I'm no longer the ghost of Christmas past, so yeah, that is basically what is going on. I am close to 30% into the book, and I gotta admit that to some extent it is still a little bit unclear to me whether our love interest is actually to be trusted, or whether he's sort of like a red herring and he's actually a bad guy. So interesting. So far I've enjoyed it. Like, it's not like I'm blown away or like super intrigued yet, but I'm definitely enjoying it, and I definitely think that it has a nice setup and good characters to follow and some intrigue to keep you interested as well. So definitely Yeah, definitely keeping me engaged and making me want to continue and see what happens next, just not on the sort of like edge of my seat type of level. But so yeah, that is where I'm going to end this vlog. I currently have 3 books on the go, so that book, my advent calendar book, so A Heart for Christmas by Sophie Jomain, and then I also have Crossroads of Ravens by yeah, I don't know that name by heart, but so the prequel to The Witcher going on at this point in time. And so yeah, let's see how I do next week with those books. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video and see you guys for the next one. Bye!